Welcome, everyone, to the third video now on the Vapor Sports channel. Uh, Today is Friday, September 18th. Uh, Decent amount of stuff happened in the sports world, both yesterday and today. We're getting geared up for week 2 of the NFL, but before we get to that, today the Nuggets and the Lakers play game 1. The Lakers, of course, being the number 1 seed, Nuggets being the 3 seed. Lakers have had a pretty solid playoffs, and the Nuggets, of course, coming back from 2-3-1 deficits. So we're gonna both give some quick predictions here. Not gonna dwell on it too much, but I think the Nuggets. I'm gonna go Nuggets in 7 because I bet against the Nuggets twice. I've lost twice. I'm not gonna make that mistake. So I'm gonna go a little crazy and go Nuggets. What do you think, Tate?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lakers. I think it will be definitely a close series. I think the Nuggets will steal a game, maybe like game 2 or even today. But I got the Lakers in 6 actually. So
All right, fair enough. I won't be surprised if the Lakers win. But yeah, I'm definitely think this year's will be close. All right, Bengals and Browns last night. Fantastic game. I didn't get to watch it, but I saw the highlights, and I wish I could have watched it live. I don't have NFL Network, of course, but Joe Burrow looked damn good. Browns pulled off a win, but if you take out Joe Burrow and maybe like Joe Mixon, the Bengals are really just not a fantastic team. Um, what do you think, Tate? See anything different?
I was actually watching the game a bit. And I was gonna say I thought the Browns started off really well. The Bengals. It seems like they have a lot of issues as far as pass defense. I think they just give up big plays.
Yep.
They gave up like a 43-yard touchdown to Odell. And really just I think better than that, it's just that was kind of the key factor was the defense. They got a fourth and goal stop on the Browns very late in the third quarter, I believe.
Yep.
So their defense did step up at times. I think it was a pretty close game, but yeah, the Browns were able to prevail. So
Well, the Bengals actually did cover the spread, so
yeah.
I thought that was pretty interesting. When I last checked on the game, the Bengals were down by a decent amount. So when I woke up to hear that they covered the spread, I was a little bit surprised for sure. But yeah, I think this is just the start for Joe Burrow for sure. He's looked really good for someone who's only played 2 games, and granted, he was had possibly one of the best seasons anyone's had in college football history. But at the same time, the NFL is a whole nother level. But yeah, I actually think the Bengals have more to look forward to than the Browns do, even though the Browns won. But yeah, those are. I thought it was a pretty great game, honestly. All right, so now for the meat of the video. Broncos at Steelers, possibly one of the Broncos' hardest games this year, especially offensively. I don't think not many people are giving the Broncos much of a chance. Not really myself included. I don't think it's quite as in Steelers' favor. I don't think all the 56-0 predictions are really quite fair. But at the same time, I definitely bet on the Steelers in this game. Tate.
I guess my thing is that I'm biased as a Steelers fan, but I think actually their offense definitely showed up in week 1. Even though, yeah, it was against the Giants. I think the Broncos will be definitely a bigger test as far as how they look on defense.
Right.
Hopefully the connection between Ben and Juju will keep up. When Ben got hurt last season, it was kind of, I guess Juju didn't really have that many opportunities, but now that he had 2 touchdowns last week, hopefully that trend can continue. The other thing I was gonna say is that I'm not really high on James Conner right now. Like he's had some injury problems over the past few seasons, and it
Yep.
sounds like he's good to go for week 2. But yeah, I'm not really too high on him, and I think Benny Snell, their rookie from last year, will still kind of make up for that load. But yeah, we'll definitely see how that
Yep.
turns out on offense.
Well, and obviously the Broncos are now lost AJ Boye, their number
Yeah.
one corner. So, however, the Broncos do have the best safety duo in the league, including the best safety in the league. So I think what's
Yep.
going to happen is the Steelers are going to be forced to do a lot of dink and dunk passes, which I think will work pretty well. but I think at the end of the day, it's actually going to come more down to the Steelers' run game. And I think the Denver Broncos defense will keep them in the game. However, if the offense plays anything like they did last week, which I think they'll be much improved, but they're also playing a much better defense than they did last week even. So I think the game will be close up until about the fourth quarter, and I think the Steelers will pull away a little bit. So my score prediction is going to be 27-17 Steelers.
I got Steelers in a close one, but I think they'll pull out 24-10.
All right, 24-10. All right. So I'm gonna say, let's say the Broncos do win. I think someone who needs to step up on offense is I think the Steelers will definitely get to covering Noah Fant. I think he'll be doubled a lot of the game. So I think Jerry Jeudy is gonna have to step up big time. And if the Broncos want to win, Jerry Jeudy's gonna have to have a 100+ yard game plus maybe a touchdown or two, and he's gonna need to not have any drops, and he's gonna need to have a lot of yards after the catch. I think that's where he excels, because as someone who watched a lot of Alabama football last year, they pulled a lot of throw the slant and let the wide receivers run it up the field. And I think if the Broncos can get it in Jerry Jeudy's hands early, they'll have a much better chance on offense. And because I think the run game will be very, very hard to get going against the Steelers. I think the best thing to do is start passing early and start passing often. Get Drew Lock in a rhythm, but I think that is very unlikely to happen, so that's why I'm going to go with the Steelers on this one. As far as the defense, if the Broncos are going to keep it close, which I think they can, they're going to have to force more turnovers. They did technically have a turnover that was called back on a play that most people agree was a pretty shitty call, but I think they're going to have to force 2 or 3 turnovers, probably mostly interceptions on Big Ben. I think if they wanna give the Broncos offense a chance to score some points. So I'm gonna say Justin Simmons is gonna have to have a big game, both in the run and the pass D. But I think the corners for the Broncos are gonna have to step up as well.
I guess, what were your thoughts on, Von Miller being injured? How big of a part do you think he has in that defense?
Right. So yeah, I mean, everyone knows that Von Miller is really the face of the Broncos when it comes down to it. He has been ever since the Super Bowl win that they had. And I think from a pure statistics standpoint, it's not as big of a blow as people say, but as far as leadership and as well as the attention he draws, it's actually bigger than everyone says, because Von Miller only had 8 sacks last year. That's also due to the fact that Bradley Chubb was out for most of the year, and he got to be doubled almost all year long. And the fact that he had 8 sacks when he was being doubled almost every game is quite impressive in my opinion. And also just the leadership and the seniority he brings. He was, other than Todd Davis, he probably was the leader of the defense. But I think Alexander Johnson and Justin Simmons are going to step up in his place. But Bradley Chubb was pretty quiet against the Titans. Jarrell Casey had some good play, but he definitely didn't do anything flashy. So I think they're gonna have to step up the pass rush too to allow for those turnovers to happen that I mentioned. They need to win the turnover battle. And right now, I think the pass rush is okay, but like you said, without Von Miller, Broncos fans here in Denver were really looking forward to that defensive front, because we were thinking top 5. But now that Von Miller goes down, you still have some good players, but now the offensive line can focus on those other rushers rather than Von Miller. So now Bradley Chubb is going to have an even harder time, I think. And yeah, so I don't know. The Giants are, no one really knows what they are right now, but based on what we saw, what do you think the offense of the Steelers can do against the Broncos?
Yeah, I guess my thing is that I think, well, as I said before, I think Connor, as being a factor in the running game, is maybe not the best option right now. Again, they have Benny Snell. And really, I do like the receiving core as far as Juju and Deontay Johnson, and the rookie Chase Claypool. I think actually Chase Claypool will have a few big catches in the game. He's more of kind of like a slot receiver, just making routes and slants. And hopefully that will open up space for the speedsters, Deontay Johnson and Juju. But um, yeah, I guess that my only concern is more the turnovers. I know that Ben can sometimes, have his way with throwing some interceptions and maybe some turnovers with the running game, but I don't really think that will be an issue in this game. So
Yeah, definitely something I noticed about Big Ben is with the added time that he has because of his size and the fact that it takes a lot more to take him down, he has more time to throw, but it's also more time for him to make a mistake. And I definitely I don't think Big Ben is one of the quarterbacks who makes a lot of mistakes, but I just think there's more chances for that to happen. And yeah, they're gonna have to get some pressure on him and force him to make some bad throws, which is
yeah,
unlikely to happen. So I think it really comes down to, can the Broncos score enough points? Really, because I think the Steelers coming into this game have a massive advantage, and I think almost everyone agrees. So, and I heard this on the radio, the Broncos are going to have a Broncos at Texans kind of performance like they did last year. It's going to have to be that level of play. So, yeah, and how many sacks on Drew Lock? Because there were technically 0 sacks on him last week, even though there was one, but it was because of a drop snap, not because of a lack of protection. How many sacks do you think?
I think TJ Watt will at least get one. I don't know about maybe Bud Dupree might have some damage, but I think TJ Watt will definitely get one of them. I don't know how many I could say. For now I'll just go with 2, I guess, 2 sacks.
All right, seems fair. And then as far as turnovers, who do you think is going to win the turnover battle?
Yeah, I'd probably say, well, I think the Steelers will get some kind of either a fumble, interception,
More likely a
and
fumble, just
probably late.
because Melvin Gordon has that problem,
But yeah, and as for the Steelers, there might be one, I believe. Either Ben throws a bad pass or something happens. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, because statistically, the turnover battle really is what wins games, and I think I've said it a couple times, but that's how Denver wins the game. So yeah, so you say 24-10, I say 27-17. So we're gonna go. So if it's closer to 10 points, I'll win, and if it's closer to 14 points, you'll win. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm excited. I think the Broncos will give them a run for their money. They're a much better team than the Giants, that's for sure. But Steelers are scary, man. They're a really scary team this year. I don't know if they'll contend with the Ravens, but I think they'll do quite a bit of damage. They could probably split.
And again, it's only week 2. We can't really, make a judgment, but
Yep.
we'll see for sure.
It's definitely the most overreaction happens, and I think this week is still going to be another, preseason. Like I said in our first video, where a lot of teams, this is going to kind of be their preseason. This is going to be an extension of that. I think they're going to still be warming up the teams that are newer, the teams that have more young faces and more new faces. So, and I think that's going to play in the Steelers' hands as well there. All right. It's been a good video. Let us know in the comments, what do you think the score will be. I'll be pulling for the Broncos, and Tate will be pulling for the Steelers. We were thinking of doing a live stream, but we don't currently have the technology required to do something like that. Down the line, I might look into some kind of capture card or whatever, so we can do live game reactions. But for now, we'll probably just have a quick reaction video right after the game. But yeah, so next video will probably be Sunday. Drop a like, guys. You like the shorter videos, the longer videos? Do you want us to divide it up into different teams? What do you guys think? Do you want more scripts? Do you want more podcast style? Yeah. So it's been fun. I will talk to you on Sunday, my friend.
Sounds good.
All right. See you guys.